All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Woo! Welcome on in, everybody. NorCal Sports Network. Pretty ferocious ball game tonight between the Golden State Warriors and Detroit Pistons. Reminding me a little of the old Pistons tonight, man. Anytime you get Isaiah Stewart in the game, you're going to get some physicality. And he poked the bear tonight. He poked Steph. I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Things are going to go his way. And the Warriors win a tough game, 115 to 110. Told you guys the last couple nights this game was going to be very, very, very close. Could have gone either way. But let us thank our sponsor first of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law a call at 415-613-9483. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. Give them a call. You got a personal injury situation, document. You just need some legal advice. Chapman Law Group, a call. All right, man, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the end of the show. All right, Lou, what a ball game. Crazy. I knew it was going to be a nip and tuck game. Pistons are good. Warriors were a little tired. Pistons were rested. So any advantage the Warriors had was kind of negated by all of that. So we saw a really good ball game. As far as score, wasn't so officiated well. It took the flow of the game out. I'm sure you have some comments on the officiating.
Yeah, I thought tonight, the dreaded thing when you play an NBA game, because it's so full of runs, when you go up 9-0, the way the Warriors started, you sort of put your head down and you sort of think, okay, this game's going to be easy. But the NBA, nothing's ever easy.
Right.
Of course, if you guys watch the game, and I know some of you guys might not have watched the whole game because you also had the Lakers and the Celtics at the same time. I thought the game today was just way too much. The officiating really hurt it. There was no flow.
Right.
I think it was end of the first quarter, beginning of the second, they had the fire alarm. So you had the delay. There was mass confusion. But, I think it was 79 free throws. It's too much. And earlier in the day, I really enjoyed college basketball. And, you get used to that, great games. And when you see a pro game like this might be why the NBA is lacking in television viewing eyes, because it was way, way, way too much. 79 free throws in a game. It wasn't an overtime game. It was just, a normal game. But, hey, good teams find a way to win, especially when Detroit went up 5 late in the fourth. The the Warriors came back and they found a way to win. So it doesn't really matter. They got the W, and that's what's most important, Dan.
Hey, you know what, deloading? I'm glad you said it. I don't want to get, so we'll just leave it in the chat as what you got. I don't want to get too much fire coming at us, but absolutely 100% deloading what you just said. And Mark Graves, anybody else who said, I'll just say this. I did not enjoy listening to this game tonight. Was just annoying as all get out. So that's all I'm going to say. Don't want to get anybody.
Dan, I listened to the game on the radio. That's what I did.
Oh, you had the radio.
When the game is
I'm in Arizona. I don't have the.
Yeah, when you get the stats that are actually right, I think the biggest problem with the announcing is they were like 3 plays behind. Announcing is not easy, but I don't want to hear something 3 plays behind. I mean, they were missing plays, but that's just how it is.
I wasn't sure if I was listening to the Warriors or the Valkyrie. Anyway, enough said. This is, looking at the box score, looking at the game, Quentin Post almost blew this game tonight because he had that wide open three and he airballed it, which showed me he tensed up. He got tense in the moment. I mean, he didn't come close. Draymond Green, the 3-point play. And I'll tell you what, besides Steph and Butler, give it up for Guy Santos tonight. The guy was just hustling and just made some really good plays. I thought, but I mean, Steph, 32 again. Has the guy's like the second leading scorer in the game behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander since the trade of Butler. Steph is like, look, if the MVP race was for the last, 12 games or so, Steph would be maybe leading because it's been incredible. But I thought Jimmy played one of his best offensive games tonight in that he was more aggressive. He had that one pass where he kicked it out to post, which could have been for the dagger if he made that three. But I was kind of like, Jimmy looked like he was going to be able to take it all the way to the rack and get a deuce. But he kicked it out to the open post and Post just gagged on it. I mean, he was like 0 for 5 tonight. Quentin Post from 3-point, 3 of 10 field goals, only 2 rebounds. This is the type of game where if it gets a little physical, I don't know about, Post. There we go, Mark Graves. All right. Bill, I'm tired. Okay. Yes. What do we got here? We got some stuff going on in there.
Dan, I thought tonight two key things. TJD is live. He actually played for a whopping 2 minutes. He was 0 for 2.
He got in early in the first quarter.
Yeah, I was shocked. But you bring up Santos. He was a difference tonight. Without him, we lose. And I'm going to say this for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One is, he did foul out, but it's because he was hustling all over the place. Probably 2 of those fouls they shouldn't have called, but that guy was hustling. He was doing everything to win, and that's what I like about him. The one thing about the Warriors is tonight, you keep bringing up Steph. I thought tonight Steph had some huge threes, but I thought this might have been his worst game since the trade. And they still won.
I mean, his shot was a little off tonight. He was 4 of 15
it was a little off,
3.
And what I liked is he hit 2 huge threes when they counted, but I think the NBA, the officials finally listened to Dan because the last week he's been sort of complaining that Steph never gets a call. He got a lot of calls tonight and ones that maybe he wouldn't gotten. And I think the one good thing about Steph, the and ones all happen because he doesn't miss the free throws.
Right.
And then we go back, tonight with 78 free throws. It was just hard to watch.
Oh, yeah, too many free throws.
About our starters, we only missed 3. So our starting 5 only missed 3, and they took, 13, 30, almost 40. So, that's good. When your main guys are getting fouled and making the free throws, that's what it's possibly
starters took
huge.
The 13 and 12, 25. 16. Starters took 29 tonight.
Oh, 29 instead of
26 of 29. That's overall Warriors missed.
That's winning basketball.
8. Yeah. Yep.
With your starters, I still think one other thing is we're just not really getting production. Detroit's young, yes, but their big men were sort of controlling for a while, and that's the one thing I'm a little hesitant of the Warriors. What are they going to do when they go against teams with big centers? Like the Joker. When Oklahoma's healthy. Just some of these teams like the Lakers, I'm not really worried about. I saw somebody in the comment say that LeBum might be out with a groin injury. It'll probably help the Lakers make them better without him. But it's
LeBum? You mean this? Which LeBum we talking about? This guy?
Well, LeBum got hurt in the Celtic game.
Oh,
tonight. I know you're depressed.
No, it's too bad.
Yeah,
to
but
hear.
like I said, they might be better without him now. So, but the one thing is the Warriors just need to make sure, and this is where it's important with Green, not to be a little baby and to keep complaining. Just play tough D. If you can play tough D, LeBron, and get the rebounds, the Warriors will be fine. We just got to make sure he stays in there.
Kuminga, I think, comes back probably maybe Monday against Portland. Is it Monday they
Portland?
play?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I wanted to point out something. I said something earlier today in a text that if the Warriors won this tough game tonight, because I knew it was going to be very tough, I think they've got a very decent shot at going 6-1 on this homestand. And let me explain what I'm talking about here, because let me just pull up their schedule on this homestand, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so the Warriors have, let's see. All right, here we go. Oh, I got to hit the wrong thing here. Sorry. I guess I did have it, and I just turned it off there. Okay, here we go. All right, Warriors schedule on this remaining 6 games remaining. So they had Detroit tonight, which was, I thought, a very tough game because Detroit's physical, they're talented, and they were rested, and the Warriors were not. So the Warriors were able to get this game. They get a rest day tomorrow. Kerr won't make them practice like Tom Thibodeau would. They will get the day off. They'll have their little shoot around Monday, and they will beat Portland. Then they get 2 very important days off, Tuesday, Wednesday, get their clocks back adjusted. Now you're ready to you're probably going to start seeing some of the Warriors' best basketball when they face Sacramento on this trip, because they will have been home for almost a full week. They got home late Thursday night, Friday morning. So their clocks will have been adjusted. They will have had, by the time they face Sacramento, they will have 3 of the 4 days off, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they'll have 3 of the 4 days off before they face Sacramento. I believe that's when you see the Warriors tune it up. Plus, they want to, Sacramento's a big game, and they'll want to be playing at their peak. So I think the Warriors start getting going, and then they get a day off. And I think they win one of 2, whether it's Denver or Milwaukee. I think it's time for them to beat Denver. And then I think they win Portland, Sacramento, and the Knicks are without Jalen Brunson. So they did sign PJ Tucker to a 10-day, so he always gives the Warriors fits from the corner 3. But I think they can go into the Denver game 4-0 on the homestand. And I think they lose one of those 2 games, Denver, Milwaukee, and beat Toronto. So I think they can go 6-1 on this homestand. Tonight was critical because I really thought they had a very good chance of losing this game tonight prior to the game being played. This is a tough, when you come back off a road trip, first game's very tough. So I think the Warriors, they have to, Portland's a trap game. Okay. Portland is a trap game Monday. They could throw that game. They don't run Portland off the court. I don't think. Portland could give them trouble. And if they take them lightly, it could become a game. So Bill says, don't jinx us, Dan. Get going. They are going. So yeah, I think and Pods should be coming back. What has he had? Back spasms?
They played better without him.
I'd actually give him Monday off. Hopefully Kuminga comes back. I think Kuminga either comes back Monday or Thursday. It depends on if they want to give him, 3 or 4 more days off.
Yeah, I
And
think maybe after Sacramento, because both those teams run. Portland runs where the score is probably going to be in the 120s combined. And Sacramento, they do the same. So I think maybe after the Sacramento game, give them another week. They're all home. I mean, that's personally what I would do. But again, I'm just
good
speaking
point here by
yeah.
deloading. I think he's talking about Moody's strip of Cunningham between the circles at near half court at the end of the game. That's when Draymond got fouled. Yeah, that was so good. That was such a good play. I've always liked Moody. He did have some slow feet earlier in the year, but I think you make a great point deloading with Butler. Jimmy Butler is really a heads up ball player, very, very intelligent player. And he's going to rub off on guys, post tonight. I don't know. He just looked off, like you said, and a lot of it could be it's an East Coast swing. Everything, I thought the refs tonight, Lou, with the whole, all the delays, checking for flagrant fouls a couple times, it gave the Warriors a chance to rest. Look at this game. We didn't start our post game till 9:25. This game started at
5:30.
40.
Well, 6:30 your time.
Yeah, I'm saying 6. I mean here 5:30. What does it start like 5:45?
Yeah, I mean it was 3 hours and like 10 minutes. It was like God. And then the last 2 minutes took another 30 minutes.
Yeah, all that did was help the Warriors because that just gave.
I agree.
Them more time to get their wind. And
another break you got to take full advantage. I think the thing about Moody is right now, until Kuminga comes back, he knows his role. I think a lot of times with the rotation before Jimmy got here, is nobody really knew their role. Like I would say, God, I want GP2. He'd had such a good game. And then they wouldn't play him, and then you'd see Buddy Hield start, but then he'd come off the bench. I think it's now that everyone knows their roles. That's why with Kuminga, I have no problem with them waiting a little bit because the next two are going to be really launching pads. Portland likes to run, and, Sacramento does the same thing. But I think Moody's become a better player because I think he just has more confidence because he's a starter and he knows his responsibility. When you come off the bench, it's a little bit different. That's just,
link is in the chat. Ken? Yeah, links in the chat if anybody wants to come in and give us a break. We'll take a little seat. We just got back from the East Coast too, and no, I'm actually I'm panting because I'm so nervous after listening to that broadcast. I'm after listening to that broadcast, I think I oh gosh.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
All I got to say is, does the WNBA have a male empowerment night? Maybe we can get.
All I know is
maybe we could do the
Valkyries haven't even started yet, and I'm already upset.
Lou,
I'm sick and tired of all this
we
stuff.
Can do. We'll have Lou. Maybe we'll do male empowerment night. Maybe we'll get a chance to do the broadcast.
All I know is all these people that think it's going to be a success. You got to remember this team has one person that started, and it's going to be a real slow year. And I want to see if this place is going to be crowded when they're like 3-8 to begin the season.
Hey,
I know they have all these fans.
2 great plays tonight, Lou. 2 great plays. Buddy Hield put back slam.
I do remember, awesome. But did you see what happened after that? They all sort of on the field got all excited, and then they came back and gave up a 3 to end the quarter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but no, I did see that. That was sweet.
That was nice. And then Draymond's 3 was clutch.
Right.
I mean, he put that thing.
They got to remember they were down. If he misses that, they lose. It was that important,
Let's bring in Deloading for some commentary to the show. Welcome, Deloading.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what'd you
Hey,
think of the
what's up?
game tonight? What's your
Um,
thoughts?
Biggest takeaway from the game, honestly, is about a month ago, this team loses this game 10 out of 10 times.
Oh,
It's not even
true.
close. Like, this is the most obvious loss before the Butler trade possible. So just the fact that they were playing terrible. I mean, I thought the flow of the game was awful. There was about a foul
Yeah.
every 10 seconds. It was gross. But they were
I mean,
playing
80 free
terrible.
throws.
I know. Pistons are a gritty team. Just getting that win when they looked bad, that just shows like the value of Jimmy Butler getting those gritty wins back. Good to see.
Yes. Yes. I 100% agree. And Jimmy hit another 3 tonight. And
Hit
then
two.
or that's right, he hit 2. He hit the pull-up jumper from the baseline, which was clutch as the shot clock was going down. Steph got the lucky bank shot tonight. But that's just karma. That's karma for a couple things. Stewart giving Steph a push in the back when he wasn't even looking at the Detroit bench. He was just excited and he turned away from the bench, and Stewart, that pissed Steph off big time.
What a joke giving that a double technical too.
Yeah, because Steph gets in his face just coming back. That's ridiculous. Well, Stewart was baiting him and yelling at him. And then the other thing was Beasley doing the what's that dance? What's that dance Steph does when he
Shimmy.
shimmy? Yeah, Beasley throwing it shade at Steph, and then how about at the end there? Steph gets that layup and Beasley fouls him with that reverse layup and gets the 3-point play when the Warriors were down 4 or 5 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. So I just thought, Detroit, it just they were mouthing, and I thought that whole thing was great when Stewart. I mean, so anyway, but go ahead, deloading. Tell us some of your other thoughts of the game.
Another thought I had was just on Jimmy Butler. Like, as we get closer to the playoffs, you can kind of see his like mentality change a little bit. Like
Yep.
early on, right after the trade, he was being just super passive. We even saw it this week. But like last game and tonight, when the back and forth from both teams are getting closer and closer, you can kind of see him taking over a little bit more. Like he had 25 last game, 26 tonight. And I just think he's getting ready for the playoffs because those kind of possessions where he's just controlling everything, he's looking to score. You're going to be seeing that more in the postseason, and I think he's just getting ready for it, which I like to
Yes.
see.
Good point. Good point. And just to address this real quick, no, I did not go to the game today. I watched it on TV. I'll probably be going Monday. All right, that's Giants baseball. So yeah, I thought the Warriors, as you mentioned, D'Lo, they lose this game 10 out of 10 times without Jimmy Butler. They just seem to have not only have a better, they're better on the court talent wise, but mentally they seem tougher. They just everything seems and guys. I mean, Buddy Hield, he didn't have a great game tonight, but he was able to. Let me see what his line was real quick. Buddy Hield.
It was bad again tonight.
But he was hustling, at least doing other things that I haven't seen him do this year, which was going after offensive rebounds and at least attempting to show some, that was a big play, that putback dunk. It was a big play. And as Lou said, they did give up the 3 to Cunningham at the end of the third, but it was still a big play. And, he was 1 of 5 from 3. I will say this, 2 of his shots looked right. They were right in the cylinder. They just popped in and out, little bit more arc, and maybe they go in. But anyway, GP2 tonight, not much on the on the scoreboard. He ends up with 2 points, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. But he was playing tough defense, and good to see him out there because without Peyton and without Pods, they would be in kind of hurting for minutes defensively.
Dan, I wanted to comment on something that Deloading
Sure.
said. I think with Butler here is we're getting hit, we're starting to see the Jimmy playoff Butler, as he was known as. But I think his championship pedigree is really fallen down on how to close a game. And if you notice, the last couple games, the Warriors have really been involved in, and every game on the road trip, the old Warriors probably would have lost half of them easily. Tonight, they could have easily lost, but Butler won't let them. And he's taught them how to close. I think that might have been the biggest problem with the Warriors. I mean, you remember they had 2 games. I think one was against Detroit and one was against San Antonio where they led by 12 and 10 late, and then they just faded away. They're finding that extra pass, the big shot, like it's when you know how to close games, you don't blow games. And I think that's a big key that we've really seen probably the last 8 games where, there was probably 6 of them the Warriors had a chance to lose. But with him there, him and his defense, it's always like, all right, they're down 2 or up 2, and all of a sudden we get that big steal out of nowhere. And the one thing I do want to say, because I've been really up against Green, the last 2 or 3 games, he has made these sort of incredible passes, which have literally gone where the defender isn't looking at him.
Right.
And he threw one to Butler. He thrown one to Santos. He threw one to Stephen Curry, where they don't sound much, but they're so great. These easy layups. When you look at it, they had 2 tonight, and they win by 5. And without those key things, I know I've been sort of negative on Green. We probably don't win the games. Yeah, GP did get 4 steals, and 1 was huge.
Yeah, Draymond's played well the last few games, and he's showing he's feeling much better with Jimmy. The whole team. I mean, I think they knew that they were probably a 10 seed without Butler, and this team was just not going well. And they might be under 500 if they don't make that trade with Jimmy. I mean, this has been rough, but I mean, imagine if the Warriors didn't get Jimmy and Phoenix did.
Thank you, Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Phoenix would be where the Warriors are at right now, and the Warriors would be where Phoenix is. So
if I could just tack on to the one thing Lou said, because I thought that was a great point. I thought Draymond was like really solid tonight, but there was a little stretch in that like early fourth quarter time when we were down 5 and Draymond was kind of like being a little too frantic, kind of speeding things up. And then you can kind of see when his body language, he doesn't get like a couple fouls and he's kind of like just being a little too dramatic or whatever. And then he gave it to Jimmy and he just slowed everything down, hit like 2 back-to-back middies, and it just changed the game completely, kind of what Lou was saying. So I thought that was huge.
Excellent point. Yeah. One thing I want to just show you guys tonight is the minutes distribution, because I thought this was really big. Steph only playing 33 minutes, and he came out with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, and he came back with, and he was at, I looked it up, and he was at 25 minutes, and he came back with 8:40, I believe it was, left. And what he was able to do, and then they had a couple of the different plays where I think they had a challenge, or that might have been, was that during the time when they had Jimmy's call to the head to check and see if it was flagrant? That took another 2-3 minutes. That gave Steph more time. That's why ordinarily Steph would have probably come back at the 7 to 8 minute mark, but he was well rested, and he probably had 20-minute rest. And the way this game went tonight with the officiating, it really played in to the Warriors' hands. I think the Warriors should try to do that more often when they're coming back with a long road trip and they got a game. It's just pull the smoke alarm. Okay. Pull the fire alarm and get the guys some extra rest. That's awesome. What is Mark Graves saying here? Not without KD, Dan? No, of course not, Mark. If Jimmy went to the Suns, KD was staying with Phoenix. If Bradley Beal waived his no trade clause, Jimmy Butler is going to the Suns, and they have KD and Jimmy and Booker, and the Suns might be possible favorites to win the title. So that was huge. That was a 180. Really, that is one trade that if is looked at the tale of two teams going in opposite directions. And if the Warriors somehow win the championship this year, they ought to give Bradley Beal a ring.
It's crazy how much one player can affect a team in basketball. You have like an entire team that's out of sorts, and then you just add one guy, and the entire thing slides into place. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, when you got one man out of that's 20% of your guys on the court, that's huge. And when the other 20% is a top 5 player of all time, that changes a lot.
Hey, deloading, I have a question because I was listening to the radio today a lot just because I wasn't a big fan of the announcers on Comcast.
I don't think anybody was.
Yeah. So at the end of the first half, the first quarter, when Stephen Curry, I don't know if you saw it because they talked about it, is he actually left to go to the locker room. And they didn't say he was injured. I don't know if he had to go to the bathroom or something. But there was like twice today where I thought maybe something happened to Steph because I've never seen him leave the court to go to the locker room. I don't know if you saw that. The end of the first quarter, he did it. And then he also did it in the third. And they never said he had an ankle problem. I did notice in the fourth before he came in, he had a lot of ice on the ankle. But, it was because the radio announcer saying, did Steph have to go to the bathroom or is something wrong with him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've never seen him get up. So, it's just one of those things. But, I think tonight the key thing, too, is they were home. I think if they would have been at Detroit with all these calls and everything going against them, I think they might have lost. But, you got to win the games at home. And I thought that was huge.
I want to point out something here to Mark. I think you got that mistaken because the trade that Bradley Beal Knicks, it was Jimmy Butler was coming to Phoenix for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was
KD
going
involved
to Miami.
Yeah, Mark,
KD was not
things.
KD was not involved in it. That was a completely separate thing. It was afterwards that the Warriors were trying to get KD to come directly to the Warriors, and the Warriors were going to be sending players to Phoenix, probably involved. It might have, I don't know who was going to be. Well, obviously it would have been Wiggins, but it would have been a couple more
Kuminga,
people and number 1 draft picks. So that was completely different. KD was always staying in Phoenix with Jimmy Butler. That's why Butler wanted to go there.
Lou, I don't really remember them diving into that about the Steph thing. To be honest, I was watching both side the Warriors and then the Lakers-Boston game.
The Lakers game? Yeah.
And I was kind of tuned. I had the Lakers-Boston audio on because I was tuned out. There was like a 5-minute Rakuten ad at the end of like the first quarter where they brought in some like spokesperson talking about that. And then one of the announcers was talking about how they think that they should award half a point if the ball gets close to going in the rim. And I was kind of tuned out at that point.
Yeah. What was
understandable?
What was the take you said, Lou? Lou, you said Steph.
So at the end of the first quarter when he comes out for the first time. So Jimmy goes out about the 6 minute mark, and then Steph sits out the last 3 minutes. So Steph walked with personnel, not a coach, with personnel like a doctor, and he went to the locker room. So on the radio, they said Tom Tolbert was doing it with one of the guys. And he goes, God, I've never seen Steph go to the locker room. Did something happen to him? So when they ended the first quarter, if you looked, because I watched on TV, Steph still wasn't on the bench. So, the radio guys are saying, God, I've never seen Steph leave. Did he have to go to the bathroom, or did he get hurt? Because there were a couple of times, I think in the third quarter, where he sort of took a stumble and then he went back to the locker room again. And then in the fourth quarter, before he came in, he had, as I call it, the green ice, because Green always has the ice packs on his knees. He had one on one of his ankles. I think it was nothing, but, on the radio guy, especially Tolbert, goes, I've never seen Steph go. I hope he's okay. You know what I mean? It was just
Bill might have had it here. Maybe this was the issue. Let me get on Giovanni in the cloud. Don't call any of my guys clowns, Giovanni. I'll send you packing faster than you know what hit you. Don't call my guys clowns, Giovanni.
It could have also just been some precautionary stuff from the ankle scare like a week ago too.
I mean, if you saw him in the fourth quarter, he had the Draymond Green ice pack on one of his ankles.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things. You get worried because you want to see the best play.
Yeah.
And, I think one of the things me and Dan have spoken about, and deloading, if you've been noticing, it's really about health. I think the only thing that's really going to take the Warriors away is, a major injury, and we can't really have that. And, we all want to see Steph. We only have, literally, we only have 2.25 more years with him, and then that's it. So,
exactly.
It's
Giovanni,
one of those things.
A troll, yes.
Same.
One thing that I thought, again, I don't know if you guys noticed it in a key situation when Draymond got all ball but then he got his hand pretty good and wrist as he followed through, and Draymond was going ape like crazy.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Thank
you for bringing that up.
And he's going crazy. And there's a coach sitting in the second row right behind the bench going, no, don't. Don't.
And Kerr listened to him again. I think Kerr's now 0-4 when Draymond has said, remember the first one was like what, midweek when he said he hit the guy in the 3-pointer. He goes, I didn't touch him when he did, but he's like 0-4.
That's
with Kerr.
That's their coach. His specific job is to review those type of plays. And I just thought it was funny because there was 2 plays earlier in the game where one of the refs said it was off Cunningham, and then Cunningham, who should have got teed up, was just screaming at the guy. Pissed. They changed it. Watching the replay, that was off Cunningham. Like, it went off his foot last. And then another one for Trace Jackson Davis, that was a clean block he had, and they called it goaltending. And Kerr didn't look at it a second way. The only time he goes to review plays is when Draymond's screaming at him.
Draymond goes crazy. You got to rely on your coaches. Kerr's got to look at him, and the coach is going, no. And, you can't listen. He's got to know after how many years he's been with Draymond, 11, 12, something like that. He's got to know Draymond's a very, very emotional player who doesn't always think clearly when his emotions go crazy. And
I can't remember the last time Draymond got one right.
Yeah,
he's like
that's the thing.
It's like 8. He's like Robert. Robert's been wrong for like 3 years. You got to earn
the biggest thing.
Respect for Kerr.
Yeah. I'll say this. Hey, by the way, guys, if I was watching a Netflix documentary on the Olympics, the 24 Olympics, the gold. I can't remember, something called gold.
It's Court of Gold.
What is it called?
Court of Gold.
Yeah, Court of Gold. Go watch that, guys.
It's so good.
It is so good. They break down all the teams like Canada, France, Serbia. They're looking at their practices, and you're getting a really good insight. I gained a whole newfound respect for Kerr probably his weakness is he's not great coach with younger players, but watching this documentary, what I found about Kerr is he knows how to lead star players.
Mhm.
And he had a talk with Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, at one point, and he said, hey, you've got to take your game to the next level. The one thing that's missing is you've got to use your perfect body to go in and get rebounds. You've got a great body to be able to get rebounds. That's the one area where you need to elevate your game. And Edwards was just nodding his head, listening to him like, yeah, and I thought to myself, I sure hope that doesn't come back to bite the Warriors if they face the T-Wolves and Edwards goes for like 14 rebounds or something in a game. But no, I mean, I saw Kerr really, running drills and coaching. A lot of people say that Kerr doesn't coach. He just throws out the ball. Oh, I got KD, Clay, Steph, and Andre. I got 5 guys. I'll just roll the ball out there. He was coaching this Olympic team of 12, superstars.
Kerr came from 2 of the winningest NBA coaches of all time.
Yeah, Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich.
And Chicago.
So
he's
he had
learned, and he's got. Yeah, well, he had Lute at U of A, but we never won. We lost in the Final Four. But thanks for reminding me. But he does have 6 rings. Okay, 3, 3, and 3. So he deserves respect. And the one thing is maybe he is a little old school because of where he came from. But that's just how it is. I think when you get these young guys, that's one of the biggest problems. These young guys don't want to learn from champions because they think they're better than they really are. And I think.
Hey, Giovanni, Giovanni talking about Draymond's 3. If you come in when the show starts, we already talked about it. You're late to the party, as usual, Giovanni. As usual, late to the party. Always late, Giovanni. We already praised Draymond's 3-point shot, but you weren't around to talk about it. So get out of here, you clown. There we go.
As many issues as I have with Kerr and some of the things he does, he is excellent at interacting and managing his players. And that shows a ton in that doc. Is just he's great at interacting and getting the best out of his guys.
Right.
And deloading, I think he's really good at adjustments, and he's one of the best with those plays after the timeout. I mean, during the championship runs, it was amazing how many times they got a good shot after a timeout. And I think he learned from, like I said, his 2, former coaches were some of the best, and now he's, leading this way. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this. I've heard a lot of people out in this world that's, ripping Kerr. Look, if you understood and really knew basketball, Steve Kerr is an all-time great coach. I mean, he has won 4 NBA titles. Yes, he had unbelievable stars for the second and third one. It was just when you had KD to that. But guys, it's not. He's a phenomenal coach, and I think one thing that people forget is Steve Kerr realizes this is not a sprint, and there's an 82-game schedule, and he has to figure out rotations. Takes him a while sometimes, and without Butler, it was not easy to just put out a same rotation. You didn't have it wasn't a good cohesive fit. There wasn't anybody that, you could just roll out because Steph was a one-man guy.
Yeah.
And you lost your 6 man. You lost one of the best 6 men that was on your team.
That's
Kuminga.
A great point.
Everything changed when Kuminga was out.
Yeah, Giovanni, Steve's one of the most luckiest guys alive. As he says, on a Bulls team with MJ, then a Spurs team with Rob and Pop, and inherited a Warriors team with Steph. Yeah, and he also lost his dad at like 21 years old while he was in college. And you're an idiot. You're an idiot, Giovanni. calling somebody lucky who's lived the
Yeah.
life and also had to have spinal surgery that went bad and actually almost couldn't even coach. It had severe headaches. Go tell him he's lucky. You're an idiot, Giovanni.
Dan, if you don't mind me talking about the last thing you said, because that's a great point, especially early on in this year. I feel like people incorrectly place blame on Kerr for a lot of the issues that is caused by the front office and their roster construction. Like early on, people are getting on Kerr about a lot of his rotations and lineups, but the roster construction that we came into the season with didn't even allow for him to like put out proper lineups with we had no other ball handler. That's why they had to trade for Schroeder. Like a lot of a lot of the problems people blame on Kerr is not even his fault. He's
Deloading.
using the guys he got given. It's not his fault.
That's what I completely agree. That's why I get a little pissed off where there are certain people in the chat that said Dunleavy deserves general manager of the year because of one trade. How about the other trade, Schroeder, that didn't work, and the personnel that we had to start the season with? You know,
well, I'm one of those guys that said if they win it, he deserves it, Lou. So you can. I know I said it, but
well, I'm bringing up a great point. What Deloading said is,
go ahead.
Our personnel we began the year with wasn't a championship team. We had a lot of problems. You know, at one point we had 13 guys. We started off 8-1, 9-1, but then once reality hit, you know, because it is a marathon. It's 82 games. You know, it's one of those things. You know, the Schroeder trade. You know, we had an injury, yes, but you know, it got to a point. And to tell you the truth, we just talked about this. I think we got pretty lucky. We got Jimmy Butler because a lot of people didn't want Jimmy because of what he was going through in Miami. A lot of people wanted other people. I mean, I know I don't know what happened to the center. Remember, we talked about getting the center from Chicago, all that stuff. So, you know, what comes around goes around. But Deloading, I think you bring up a good point on the rotations. You know, I think getting Jimmy Butler really settled the rotations. You know, with Moody, now that he's starting, he knows his role. A lot of these guys didn't know the role. I mean, you know, before he got here and before the All-Star game, I mean, TJD was sort of our only center, and he was playing, you know, 12 to 16 minutes, and Peyton was maybe playing 4. I was very frustrated because I liked Peyton. Moody wasn't playing. But, you know, I think the best part about it is, you know, and I know we refer this to as baseball. You want to play your best baseball in September for the playoffs in October. Well, I think you want to play your best basketball in March when the playoffs start in April. And that's where the Warriors are going right now.
And this is where the Warriors have done this, you know, since KD left. They've kind of had to come on strong late because, look, they haven't had the horses. Look, Klay Thompson was not the same after the 2 injuries, you know, to the knee and then the Achilles, and they lost a lot and they had to come back. I just say this about Dunleavy, the fact that he was able to get Butler and, you know, the trade for Schroeder, he kind of had his hands tied because
we gave up nothing for that.
Yeah, you gave up nothing. You gave up Melton, who was out for the year and was on a 1-year deal. So the thing about getting Schroeder, he was an asset because he's had a $13 million salary. So that mid-level, $13 million, was able to transfer into getting Butler with Wiggins because Butler was up around 40 plus salary, and you had Wiggins at 24, I think, or 26, one of the right in there, call it 25, plus the 13 made it 38. And then you had a couple other guys thrown into that deal, like Robert Anderson was at $8 million. Yeah. So that brought it up to like 46. And didn't they have to throw in one other guy that was in that deal?
It was Lindy Waters.
Lindy Waters, yeah, $2.5 million. So you had to get close to 50 million. Hey, Giovanni, I'm sorry I called you an idiot. All right, but look, I'll take that back. I don't want to call anybody names, so I apologize for calling you an idiot. But if you're going to come in with takes that are not very intelligent, I'm going to call you out. And I should have just said that's a dumb take instead of making it personal. So I apologize for that. But he said, Cyrus also said Kerr is lucky you don't attack him. Relax, dude. It's just my opinion. All right. Look, Cy's got his own show, and I respect Cy. He can say what he wants. That's his call. Everybody has an opinion. So I just thought you calling him lucky or saying lucky, I just think I don't agree with that take. I don't. I don't think Kerr is lucky. Sometimes in life, when you work hard and you do a lot of things, breaks come your way. It's just, you call him lucky for having Steph and Clay and KD
Mark
and all
Jackson
that,
couldn't take him to the championship. Mark Jackson couldn't. He took over the next year.
Michael Jordan looked to Steve Kerr to hit the game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. That is not lucky.
And John Paxson. Yeah, and I think, he's not the only one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the highlights of Kobe. Kobe hated everyone if they didn't practice as hard as he did. They were gifted, and he would say, this is ridiculous. Why am I busting my ass if you guys aren't going to do the same level? I'm here to win the title. I don't care about being good. I want to be the best. And, I think one of the things, too, is with Kerr is I thought he got better. The first year he had the Warriors, he then adapted. And I think, everything happens for a reason. I just think, it's one of those things. And I think the Warriors were lucky to get Kerr. If you guys remember, he originally signed a 5-year, $25 million deal to coach the Knicks. And our owner said, no, give us 72 hours. Let us talk to you. And Kerr decided, should I go to the Knicks that has a lot of problems, or should I go to the Warriors where they have Steph and they have Thompson? And obviously, being lucky, he chose the right way. I don't think it was lucky. It was just, knowledge. Hey, would I rather coach that? Or, deloading, what do you think?
Well, another thing about that is people forget 2009 draft. Steve Kerr was the GM of Phoenix. They had a trade in place with the Warriors. Steve Kerr wanted to trade for Steph Curry. So he saw it all the way back then.
Oh, that's right. They were going to get the Stoudemire.
Yeah, it's not like Steve Kerr lucked into the Steph Curry situation. He could see what Steph Curry could possibly become way back then. So
they had a deal in place. It was Amari Stoudemire was coming to the Warriors for Steph. I don't know what else was involved in that trade, but Don Nelson got involved and got it to turn it down, right? Isn't that what happened? Yeah. That's
and
right.
People forget about Steph. I think it was in his first 5 years, he turned his ankle like 7 times. He had a problem. Yeah. That's why his first real contract was 3 years, $30 million, and he was the least paid shooting guard in the NBA because really it was just more of an insurance. And then from then on, he, knock on wood, he's never had that problem again. So if anybody got lucky, it might not have been Steve Kerr. It might have just been the Warriors. However,
Kerr's lucky he didn't go to the Knicks, as you were saying, Lou, that he didn't take that job. Yeah, he was already agreed to the Knicks, hadn't he?
Yeah, and then our owner said, "Hey, can we give you guys?" Because remember at that time he was announcing the NBA playoffs. So they said, "Hey, do you mind before you announce you haven't signed anything, but in principle, can we just sit down?" And they went out to dinner with them and said, "Steph, we want you. This is what we'll do." And I think the Warriors
Kerr
got
has
lucky to get
9 rings.
Yep,
that'd be nice if he can get 10. One for every. I guess you can't fit a ring on the thumb, but
you can try.
He's got 9 of them. Basically, you can only fit on 8 fingers. Wow, that's pretty cool. That now I've always, I'll get on Kerr for some of the things. I thought he mishandled some of Kuminga earlier points of the season, but then he did finally, right before Kuminga got hurt, he was scoring 30 plus a game a few times, and he was playing the best basketball of his career. I'm just hoping that when Kuminga does come back, that he takes more of the role of what Jimmy Butler. I would love to see Kuminga, maybe when he's out of the game, Butler, that there's 10 minutes right there. Butler played 37 minutes tonight, by the way, guys. So, but let's say that gives
Getting back in shape.
Gets 12 minutes right there, and he just, say Jimmy plays 36, so there's 12 minutes that Kuminga can play right there, and then once he gets into the flow of things, he might be able to be in the closing 4 or 5 minutes of each half. There's another 10 minutes. That's 22 minutes that he could work himself in, and if he starts really, really producing, he could get closer to that 28 to 30. So we'll see, but I think Jimmy Butler is going to make Kuminga better, and here's why. Because if Kuminga forces himself and tries to do too much, he's going to end up on the bench. And
that's my biggest worry.
Yeah.
Is that if Kuminga comes back and he doesn't try to just fit in with how they're playing, because they're playing like when they trade for Butler, you see how much better Moody has become by just playing in the system. Same with Pause, even though he's been playing a little bit worse. But just fitting in and doing what he needs to do to help the team win. I'm a little worried that when Kuminga comes back, he's gonna just try to do too much instead of just flowing with the team.
I don't know if he will, and I'll tell you why I'm not sure of that deloading, because Steve Kerr has already said when he comes back, what does he want out of him? He wants him to play like Jimmy. Just do what Jimmy's doing. And I think Kuminga's getting that message. And part of I think there's two things why Kuminga hasn't played yet. One is I think they want him to be 100% totally, not 92%, because they don't want to have a setback. And two, I think they're saying, just keep watching what Jimmy does. Just keep watching Jimmy. And, Kuminga can do what Jimmy does in some ways if he plays with more control. One of the things that comes with time of playing is the game slows down. You could see how with Jimmy, the game is very slow for him. There's nothing that phases him. He doesn't get worked up when there's a trap or there's 5 seconds on the shot clock and he's got the ball in a position he doesn't want to shoot it. Like at the top of the 3-point line, he's not taking that when he's being guarded. So he's just going to figure it out, and he'll drive and he doesn't panic. And he'll even drive with 5 seconds left and 3, and he'll kick out a pass.
Yeah, he's so smart. His decision making is just quick. He gets it.
Yeah, I do agree with Giovanni on this. I think the league has been trying to push LeBron. Do you get the feeling that they're trying to hope for a LeBron Steph Western Conference Finals?
100%.
I do
100%. It's the coverage around like the Lakers and stuff. It's ridiculous. They're 100%.
Yeah, if they can somehow get them opposite brackets, like the Warriors being 5 and the Lakers 2 or 3.
That would be. Sorry.
That would be. Well, go ahead. You go ahead with that thought.
If my biggest hope is that is the case, and the Lakers have to match up with Denver or say like Minnesota early and just beat the crap out of each other. And because I don't know, there's the teams like the Lakers just scare me because we haven't been able to beat them the last few years. And OKC is of course deadly, but you never know with those young guys in the playoffs. So if we can just avoid them till late, I think would be super beneficial.
Yeah. I like what Mark Graves says here. I could see this because Butler's such a great passer. Now what you have with Green and Butler on the court at the same time, plus Steph, you have some incredible passers. I mean,
it's called the
Draymond,
triangle offense.
Yeah. I mean, Draymond can throw some of the best passes on this team and in the league. I mean, he's very smart, and then he could flip the ball up and over to Butler, and he can see guys that are cutting into lanes and lead them where and that's a really part of Draymond's game that gets overlooked. So I see with Kuminga on the floor, it just adds another weapon that the Warriors don't have, which is a guy that can really get above the rim for those lob passes. It's going to be exciting when they set some of those back screens, because those back screens are going to be key, because they're going to be overplaying guys like Steph and Butler on the court. So it'll be fun. Do you guys think that officials will start to call more plays or more fouls when Steph? I mean, do you see Steph? They just put their arm around him whenever he's trying to get off of a screen. They're just holding him down low.
I don't know if you guys
understand
talked about it last game, but that Brooklyn game was ridiculous. That first quarter was just ridiculous. Like, they were bear hugging him with no, like, the refs weren't even looking at their whistle. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I don't understand. I wish Steph would just kind of throw his arms up and do a little LeBron sometimes. Like, just like I can't run. They're holding me. Just like, because it's ridiculous. They hold on to him. They just put an arm around him whenever he's setting a screen down low. They're holding Steph so he can't take off. Happens.
I thought tonight he got a lot of calls. Deloading. Don't you think Steph got a lot of calls
tonight? For sure. I think
tonight.
He shot like
I thought maybe, I thought maybe it's because the NBA listened to Dan finally.
I think that was it. Should we bring Chardall in to close this show out?
Hey, and I want to say one thing. Bill, I thought he had 6 as a player. He only had 5, so I was wrong. I don't really count it when you say it as a coach. So, Bill, I'm sorry I was off 1. I thought he had 6 as a player. He only had 5. And then, of course, 4 as a coach would make it 9. Bill, I made a mistake.
I think they're just calling fouls on like everything, though. I think this game's a little bit of an outlier.
Yeah, tonight.
Good point.
Was rough. All right, Chardall, if you're in there, I'm going to put the link on. You can come on in.
Hey, deloading. Remember, take care of your clock tonight. Spring forward.
Oh no, I got a basketball game tomorrow morning. I gotta make sure I'm not late for it.
Oh, whoa! What league you playing in?
Oh, it's just for my school.
Oh,
it's like an intramural league.
Oh, are you in college right now?
Yeah, I'm only 20.
Oh, wow! I didn't realize you were that young. I thought you were a seasoned vet.
No.
Deloading. Where do you attend?
UC Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
I'm from the Bay.
UC Santa Cruz. That's where producer Ryan went.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Graduated.
And then deloading. Remember, a week from tomorrow is Selection Sunday. Just so you know.
Oh, I know. I
Selection
can't wait.
Sunday, a week from tomorrow. All right, beautiful. And deloading. Keep up the good work on the chat and welcome. I love it. Come on, man. You're super smart.
I appreciate you guys.
What position you play tomorrow? What position you play?
So I'm kind of tall for my team, but I play guard. It depends on who we're playing. I got to see the matchup. So if we win the first game, we play like an hour later. So we'll see.
Yeah, and they said guys in the NBA have a struggle going back to back. How about playing an hour later?
We'll try to wrap it up. We'll try to wrap the game up quick so I can get the subs in. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Get some rest. All right, I'll see you guys.
Okay, hey, take care, deloading. Have a good night. All right, guys. Don't forget to put your clocks forward. If you're not living in Arizona, You don't have to. If you're in Arizona, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because we'll all be on the same time starting tomorrow, Dan.
There we go.
You know.
There we go. Hey, Chardal, I'm giving you 30 seconds. Come on in. Better hurry. Because we're ending this show, Chardal. So you better come on in. All right. Hold on here. Oh. Hey, my wife's over. Look at this. I just got the on
She
my
made
watch
it okay?
there.
Her flight made it?
Yeah. $23.04. Kenny Rogers Roasters. She just had lunch with her family.
Oh, the Roasters, like the Seinfeld one.
Yeah, Kenny.
Remember, it was right next door to him.
Giants talk. Let's go, Dan. Okay. We'll have some Giants talk tomorrow night, guys. 8:00, the hot corner. Don't know what the topic's going to be, but we will be talking Giants baseball. And if you've been listening to the shows lately, they've been a little bit more optimistic, trying to have a little positive outlook before the season starts. And there's plenty of time to go negative if they fall flat. But I'm gonna be a little bit more positive because I'm liking some things I'm seeing. Yes, it's spring training, but as I said, I think there is a real new attitude in town, and I think that can carry over in sports. We saw it with Roger Craig taking over a 1985 100-loss team. And Anthony, I'm not going to say that name, okay? I'm just not going to say that name. So you can not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Read my lips.
Hey,
I'm not.
Dan, the one good thing about the hot corner, hot corner tomorrow, at least 3 of the people will be positive. There will still be someone that's actually doesn't have the faith yet. So
yeah, that's either
join
Mr. Salty
the hot corner. So join to see who's not.
It might be 50-50. It might be a 50-50 split. You and Glenn taking us down the salty road.
Reality.
Okay. Oh, my wife is texting me. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. We'll give that a thought. Okay. Very cool. I'm happy. My wife's arrived in the Philippines. She's with her family.
Beautiful.
So it is 1:35 over there Sunday afternoon. Okay. So let me see. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me just. Okay, guys. Oh, wait. One other thing. Okay. Just doing a little dictation there. Easier to talk. So, okay, guys, we're out of here. And we will can we call Glenn?
Hot corners tomorrow, right at 8:00 start.
Hey, Glenn probably, if he watched that Warrior game tonight, I bet he enjoyed it. The broadcast. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, we're out. Thank you for being part of the show. Let me find the music on the way out. Make your comments. We'll post them as the music plays. See you tomorrow night, 8:00, everybody. Thank you. Let's see if I can sing this words. I'll put words to this song. Here we go. See if I can put some words to this song. Come on, Lou, sing. Come on, Lou. Come on, Lou.